that keys are to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time, and this is an exciting day because a lot of returns happened at 49ers football practice. It is time for game season because dress rehearsal's here. This is going to be a fun week, and then ultimately we're going to have a nice build until that first game against Detroit.
And the Shanaplan's in effect. Yeah. The Shanaplan's in effect. We're all over this on the Cutback. Yes, we are. The Shanaplan's in it. It's in effect, folks. It's in effect. We got to see a little bit of the Shanaplan today in practice. Got a little taste of it. 49ers fans are going to start freaking out all over the place, but it's fine. It's all a part of the plan. See, you have nothing to fear.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan's a schemer.
He's a schemer, right?
He has
and
plans.
This is a part of the plan. So don't panic. Don't freak out, 49ers fans. This is exciting times. But, I wouldn't say this was as exciting, right, as some of the returns. Some of the returns a little more exciting.
Right.
But make sure you hit that like button right now because you got a daily video coming to you the day of a live stream. I can't believe it. This channel growing, adding more content each and every day. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well. Like the video. And we got to get into this, though. A lot of stuff happened today. And the 49ers did what at practice today? What did they do?
First off, Kyle Shanahan kind of alluded to this when he went into the presser, was that they're going to be working on Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance, kind of coming in and out during series, not just, splitting series or anything like that, but actually changing depending on what situation and what they needed out of the play. So if it's 3rd and 1, maybe Trey Lance is going in and run read option and that kind of thing. So 2 plays in for Jimmy, 1 play in for Trey, whatever it takes. A lot like the Drew Brees situation was in New Orleans with Taysom Hill. So this was very interesting. I think this is what we've thought was going to happen. This has kind of been what it's been building towards as far as we go. That's why we made the Shanaplan video. The things that Kyle Shanahan was saying ultimately led us to believe this was going to happen. It is happening. It is not Jimmy versus Trey. It is Jimmy and Trey and the 49ers versus everyone else. It is finally official. Maybe we're going to get our first glimpse of it against the Raiders, but definitely they're executing this at practice right now.
That they are. They are executing this at a high level, and it's not just with the ones, folks. This was also going on with the twos. So you had situations where Trey was in with the twos doing things, and then they would bring Jimmy in as well and flip-flop them in and out, back and forth, all over the place because they want the guys getting used to this. They want Trey getting used to this. They want Jimmy getting used to this. You want to give them a real-like game experience for what they may be dealing with because the reality of the situation is this is something that could happen come game time.
Will happen. I don't think it's even could anymore. This is will happen. The 49ers 100% will be using Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance in week 1 versus Detroit. Whatever situation suits them the best, they're going to get them on the field to execute. Down and distance is going to make a big difference. Situational football, where they're at on the field, is going to make a big difference. But all those things, Kyle Shanahan even said they need to work it out. The way that they need to get these guys in because these guys have to get used to them going in and out. It's a little bit different than wide receivers who do it all the time or tight ends, but now you have a personal grouping with your quarterback position as well. Getting these 2 guys in and out of the games is going to be fun. It's going to be interesting because 2 quarterback systems like this have not been used very often. New Orleans, I think, is the closest to it, but their quarterback and Taysom Hill didn't have the quarterback skills that Trey Lance has. So this is 100% 49ers taking the Saints model and taking it to the 100th power because this is going to be way bigger, better, more fantastic. The question is going to be, can these guys get in rhythm as they go in and out? With everything, the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. And if you get comfortable doing it, you 100% can pull this off. It's no different than a pitch hitter in baseball. Once you get really good at it, you can do it often. So this is going to be fun to watch. I'm excited for it.
Absolutely. I'm pumped for it as well. And look, there's some more stuff we could talk about with the quarterbacks, but let's dive into the rest of it, right? Because there are other things that are going to impact this team other than just the quarterback position.
There is?
Although, and don't get me wrong, it's a lot of fun talking about the quarterback position. It is. And listen, we'll get back around to some of the performances from Trey and Jimmy today, just a little bit. But we got to talk about some DNPs And now what will be the biggest question mark heading into this Raiders game, right? And heading into the regular season. So let's start with the DNPs. Aaron Banks, obviously, still dealing with some stuff. Dre Greenlaw, out today. No real injury diagnosis. I think it's just probably a maintenance day for him.
I'm guessing so, yeah.
That's what it's looking like. Jauan Jennings still dealing with the heel. Expected. I don't know what it means. I'm not sure how serious this is. Are you getting a little worried about Jauan Jennings and that heel?
Yeah, I think as soon as I heard it was the heel before, it kind of made me nervous. The fact he's not out there makes me nervous as far as how they're going to be able to fit him on this roster. They don't want to cut him, but they might have to. And then there's a good possibility he gets picked up and we might lose Jauan Jennings. So this is going to be kind of scary to see how they figure this out. Jauan Jennings hopefully is able to go later in practice this week. Hopefully,
I'm hoping for him as well. Devonta Harris was an interesting one that was a DNP today. Are you thinking maintenance, or is there something potentially wrong here? Because this is a guy you would think would be out there getting as many reps as he can, getting familiar with his defense.
Yeah, I would guess it's not a maintenance day. I'm guessing it's something else, but I don't know that for sure. So I'm just speculating. But yeah, he needs to be on the football field if he's going to have any chance to make this team. To be honest, I don't think he's going to make this team and make this roster. So to me, this is not a big deal because I don't think he's going to do that. I think he'll still play in the game unless he's injured and can't play. But if he was injured and couldn't play, they would have already took care of him. So he's going to be out there at some point.
At some point, just a matter of time. Maurice Hurst, obvious one that's going to be a DNP for the time being. Safety Kai Nakua, a little bit interesting there. Another guy who's on the back end of the roster you would think would be doing a little bit more. And then one that's not a concern at all, Jason Verrett. He's just out. He's getting a maintenance day. It's a vet day for him or whatever. They're just getting him ready to go. Keeping him healthy. I don't even know if we'll see Jason Verrett in this dress rehearsal. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes out there for like a series or something, but him, Fred Warner, guys like that, I don't expect them to be on the field very much.
I kind of expect all of them to be on the field.
A lot or a little bit?
Just a little bit, but I expect to see everyone for the dress rehearsal. They're going through dress rehearsal and practice as far as this is their practice schedule. They're going to try to do everything that way. How much playing time these guys get in the game is going to be determined on, exactly their stature, how healthy they are and all that, and how many reps they want to see out of them. But I think the 49ers do want to see all these guys out there because it takes a lot to get the rhythm, the chemistry, the cadence, to get in and out of the huddle, defense to get the calls in. Yes, the veterans do it, but you're playing with different pieces. So you want to get them out there and just get them used to it, or everything feels a little bit foreign when you get into the game. Even if you've done it a million times at practice, the game situation is just a little bit different being in front of a live crowd. So just get out there, get through a couple series, and then call it a day and get set for Detroit.
Yeah, that's fair. That's 100% fair indeed. Speaking of dress rehearsals, though, and this being a dress rehearsal, you know what you were hoping not to rehearse was being without Raheem Mostert. And unfortunately, Raheem Mostert goes out of practice today with an apparent back injury. Is it time to panic if you're 49ers fans, right? We for the most part have escaped the injury bug, for the most part. And now Raheem Mostert's going down. Is it time to freak the frick out?
No. I don't think you freak out because for this reason is maybe he just felt a twinge, right? He felt a little something in his back. It's just being careful. I don't know for sure, but I do know he went and took a knee and sat there, basically was on a knee the rest of practice. If it was something serious, he would have went straight, to the training room. So maybe we're going to get lucky and this is some sort of a muscle or something to where maybe it's even just a back spasm. Whatever it is, he can get through it and be okay. But you're worried about back injuries all the time. But I think if it was something serious, he would have already been off the field. So the fact that he stayed there gives me hope that Raheem Mostert's going to be ready for Detroit, and he does have some time to get ready for Detroit, so there's no reason to panic yet.
No, I agree with you there. And here's the thing, too, with back stuff. If it is muscle related, right, like a spasm or tightness in the back, that could actually be caused by a lot of different things other than the back, right? That could be tight hamstrings, it could be tight glutes. It could be something with lower extremity where foot's been bothering him. So he's been walking a certain way,
right.
Walking a little bit more on the outside of the foot instead of the inside, not pushing through his toes. So you got muscles now overworking or not firing in the correct sequence, which messes up your gait, which is basically part of your movement, walking, running pattern. And so if you're doing that for an elongated period of time, you can have issues arise in other areas. And typically with lower extremity stuff, whenever you have potential gait issues or muscle issues, tightness in the hamstring, tightness in the glute, it almost always affects your lower back at some point in time. This could be a thing, right, where he's just not loose right now or didn't get as loose as he needed to, had some tightness. Hey, take it easy today. Even him, let's take it easy today. Let's get myself back on the right track. Don't overdo it. Do your rehab, right? He's going to do some stretch. He's going to definitely hop in that cold tub and probably put some nice heat all over that bad boy, roll it out a little bit, and see how he feels tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll probably get a little trip to the chiropractor as well, get reset, and then he'll be feeling a little bit better. Because you're right, it's something in one area that usually affects lower back, whether that's neck or upper back, or like you said, legs, and then that'll cause that that back issue. It could even be as simple as he took a helmet to the back. We honestly don't know.
Accurate.
We would just be speculating if we tried to figure out exactly what his injury was without Kyle Shanahan and the medical staff ultimately letting us know what's going on. I think hopefully he's fine and ready to go, because we could definitely use his dynamic abilities in this offense, because he is an absolute game changer.
That might be an understatement. That might be an understatement indeed. Look, players that return to practice. Some names on here of guys who needed to return. They had to come back to practice. They needed the time, big time. Right? You had offensive tackle Sean Coleman, a guy who definitely needs to be back. Yeah, agreed. Clinton Dix out there, needs to be out there right now. The big one, Jalen freaking Hurd, and according to Lombardi, a couple of nice gains on receptions for Mr. Hurd.
Yeah, he answered the bell. I mean, this is kind of what Jalen's been doing. When he needs to, he's out there and he makes plays. We got to see it in day, I believe it was 12, that we got to see him out there and make some plays of training camp, and he had a very good showing. You could tell his legs weren't all the way under him. Maybe that was part of the reason that he needed some time off, but he had to be back. He has to practice this week, and he has to play in this game, and he needs to make an impact. But I believe that if he does, he still has a chance to make this roster. Number one, Travis Benjamin hasn't done anything to completely distance himself. Richie James has made himself basically trying to climb out of the pit that is the drops that he's had all offseason. So he's in danger.
Yep.
And then you've got now Jawan Jennings with the heel issue, which might ultimately help Jalen Hurd make this roster, because it's scary to say, but he's actually more healthy than Jawan Jennings, and that gets you on the field. So he has an opportunity to make this team. They want him to make this team, but he needs to go out there and prove it. Can he do it? We will see. We'll see if his body will betray him again, and if it does, he will not be on this roster. If it doesn't, we will see what he can do this season, and then I get to get excited because I get to get a number 14 jersey.
And that 14 jersey is very important to you, and I know. I think most of the Cutback crew is aware. If you're not aware, welcome. Coach Ann is a big fan of the Jalen Hurd.
And if I don't get a Jalen Hurd jersey, number 14, maybe I'll just get a Ray Rushing.
Hey, that works.
Yeah.
Interchangeable there.
Yeah.
At least until he's ready. Because he's not going anywhere. I mean, the reality of the situation is they're going to find a way to keep this guy, stash him somewhere.
You think? Because, I mean, they might have to cut him. And if they do, somebody's picking him up.
Oh, God, please don't.
I mean, and you know who's going to call first. It's going to be Pete. They will sit. Yeah, he'll be chewing his gum. He will sit there and wait on this guy. They have no problems having guys that are injured, and they just keep them, stack them, because they know they're going to use them later. And he would be a game changer for them in Seattle.
You're not wrong there, unfortunately. You're not wrong. And let's hope to God that's not what happens. Because the last thing I need is more obnoxious gum chewing on the sidelines. My Lord.
Not with Hurd standing next to him.
Please, no. Please, no. Look, Javon Kinlaw returns.
Yep.
Not a surprise from either of us. We knew this guy. This wasn't that serious of an issue. And now that you're in dress rehearsal, right, this is more of prepping for actual real-life game situations. Javon Kinlaw can go and push through whatever it is he's dealing with his shoulder. He's going to be A-okay. He's going to be just fine. But a guy that I didn't expect to be out there doing stuff, Elijah Mitchell with the adductor stuff on the hip, I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, and now we got an absolute log jam at the running back position.
What are you going to freaking do?
I think we were sitting there thinking they were going to try to sneak Elijah Mitchell onto the practice squad somehow, cut him and hope that nobody claimed him. And now he's going to have his opportunity to get out there and play, it appears. And you're going to have a really big decision to make. Now, Mostert could take that decision out of everyone's hands. We don't know. But
please no.
Well, I think somebody's getting cut or somebody's getting traded. Who is it going to be? Because there's no way they can keep 5 running, tailbacks to go with juice on this roster.
I agree with you. So this was going to be my question, because there was a part of me that it would make no sense for the Niners to trade within their own division. Right? It wouldn't make any sense. But the Rams go and pull the trigger, right, and make the trade for Sony Michel with the Patriots. Not a surprise. I'm surprised they gave up anything for Sony Michel, seeing as he's not been playing very well for the New England Patriots.
He'll play better with the Rams.
I think he may, but I'm still not convinced yet.
He will. His skill set fits more with that offense than it did in New England.
Okay, fair enough. We're going to find out.
I watched a lot of Sony Michel football in college.
I like it. Okay, so Sony Michel makes that move. What team out there would be making a trade for running back? What other team out there do you see? Because I can't think of one. The only team that came to mind heavy hard was that team maybe the Lions, but you're playing them week 1. Maybe the Falcons?
I think there's lots of teams because you're talking about a depth player. All they want to do is get a guy that's better than their third or fourth running back that they have currently. Yeah. So, I mean, somebody like Elijah Mitchell, for instance, he was a 6th-round pick. You can turn around and trade a 6th-round pick. You know what value you're getting. Somebody that already learned an offense that can play in the NFL. You know what this guy can do. He has that speed. So if maybe you're looking at your roster and you're like, you know what, I don't really like our 4th running back compared to Elijah Mitchell. Let's go ahead and make a move and go ahead and pick him up. Do I think the 49ers want to trade Elijah Mitchell? No, I don't. But what are they going to do? What decision are they going to make? Is it going to be Wayne Gallman? That's the odd man out? It could be, unfortunately, because I don't think they want to give up on these other guys. But it could also be Hasty. Even though Hasty has a run with the first team, it doesn't mean he's going to make this roster, even though he's looked really good. Elijah Mitchell is a fantastic runner. I hope he gets to run against the Raiders because people will get to see his potential, which is a little curious because if the 49ers really were trying to sneak him onto the practice squad, you would think they wouldn't play him against the Raiders. So that way he was not seen at all, and that way they could go ahead and stash him. So this is a little bit one of those things where you're wondering where their angle is.
True. I want to know because this running back room now, with everything going on with Mostert, with Mitchell being back, right? There's questions. There's big questions, and there's not a lot of time to answer those questions. You have to make those final cuts by next Tuesday. It's going to be tough indeed. This preseason game, this last one against the Raiders, is going to have a huge impact on who's here and who's not going forward in this running back room, or if there's a trade made, maybe afterwards, maybe after the game, right before they have to make that decision, that final decision. We'll just have to wait and see. Emmanuel Moseley comes back with a hamstring injury. You like seeing him back out there on the field. Trey Sermon back after the knee stuff. Al-Shaair back after the elbow stuff, right? Jaquiski Tartt showing up in a big way. It's very obvious that Jaquiski Tartt knows he's going to have to show something before training camp ends, right? Before preseason officially ends, because there's no guarantee that this guy, if he can't be healthy and be ready to go, is going to make this roster.
He's guaranteed to be the starter week 1.
If he's healthy?
If he's healthy, he's week 1 starter.
Agreed.
I don't think there's even a question that this guy's making this roster. I think this was a slam dunk. They knew this was going to happen from the beginning. They held him out the same way that they were doing with Nick Bosa. They have been very calculated in the way that they've handled their players and their veteran players.
They're not wrong.
This guy understands the defense to a whole other level. He's been out there consistently at practice learning and going through stuff on the side field.
True.
He's going to be ready to go. You're going to put him and Jimmy Ward next to each other. Tavon Wilson and Talanoa Hufanga now are the backups. Ha Clinton Dix, thank you for coming. But you're probably not going to make the roster, which is crazy because he's actually looked pretty good at practice overall. Had a decent showing in the game. Yes.
Had another pick today.
Yeah, had another one off Trey Lance today. He's going to, he has that skill set where he could possibly, make a team. I just don't think it works out in San Francisco because you came to one of the teams with the deepest safety room, And yes, they had the Tony Jefferson injury. Jaquiski Tartt was kind of laid up, but still, this room was still good. And now that Tartt's back, you put those two running mates together and you roll with it. The only question is how long can Tartt stay healthy? Because it seems like every single year he gets nicked up at some point and misses football games. So I'm hoping for a nice, healthy season for Tartt.
Just want it. I want that for him. I want that for this team. It needs to happen. So look, Jaquiski Tartt though back. I didn't expect it so soon, and Kyle Shanahan and the coaching staff are very sneaky. Very sneaky indeed.
Oh, yeah, I think it was the plan the whole time. You could tell. They don't look surprised, and Kyle tries to act like, I haven't seen him play. I don't know, how he's going to be. We'll see if he can start week 1.
Poppycock.
Everything about it says he's going to play in the week 1. He's going to play in the preseason more than likely against the Raiders. So we'll see if he gets first-team snaps. If he's out there with the first team right away, you might as well lock it up and throw away the key. He's that day 1 starter against Detroit. If he comes in off the bench, then they're going to make him prove that he's healthy. But I think he spins with the first team.
I think so too as well. Look, two big names returning. These are both guys who we thought were going to be ready to go by now. Trent Williams, the guy who everyone was ready to hit the panic button on. A-okay, folks. He's out there running around with the first team doing his thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine. Trent Williams is going to be go week 1. I saw people talking about how he wasn't going to be ready week 1 because when you get a knee drain, right, they were like, knee drain, that's 6 weeks. It's 6 weeks. And I was like, are you confusing a knee drain with arthroscopic surgery? Because those are not the same thing.
Definitely not.
At all. Now, you can have a knee drain that also includes an arthroscopic surgery, but that's not what Trent Williams did. So people, 49ers fans, you got a little over the top, right? You took that knob, you went up to about a 20, You can bring it back down now to about a 3, and then don't go back up over 10 because there's no reason to. Trent Williams is going to be fine. Will there be an opportunity for Trent Williams to miss some games this year? Yes, because it's Trent freaking Williams. You want to make sure he's healthy, and if something happens in a game, right, he gets rolled up on by a running back or something like that, gets up to second level and plants something wrong and something feels off, if you're the Niners, you're going to find that game during the season where you can be like, you know what, we can live without Trent this game. Let's let the rookie get some run and make sure that he's healthy long term. So Trent may miss some games, but as long as Trent's playing 15, 16 games this season, there's really nothing to worry about.
And one thing we know about Trent Williams from his medical history is he's not above going to medical staff and saying, I don't feel good, I don't feel
Correct.
right. He's not going to put himself out there unless he feels 100% that he's able to go and play. It doesn't mean he's 100% physically, just 100% able to go and understands his body. So this is kind of a nothing. I knew as soon as it was a drain that I wasn't worried about it. The way Kyle Shanahan poo-pooed it and acted like it was no big deal, once again reading into the press conferences and really getting a kind of a read on Kyle Shanahan. He lets you know a lot about what he's thinking, what he's feeling, and what he's doing. You just have to be, able to read it. You just have to be able to kind of take that time and pay attention.
And don't take it too literally.
Definitely not. But yeah, Trent Williams is back, and he will be better than ever. The fact he's going to be playing against the Raiders is an absolute good sign, because if the knee had any sort of, trepidation for them, he would not be playing in this game. They'd be waiting for Detroit. So this is a good sign. It's all signs pointing in positive directions for most of the 49ers roster.
And trepidation, word of the day. You're welcome, Cutback crew. Make sure you hop into the Discord and let us know. Give us that definition of trepidation. Trepidation. You're welcome. The other guy, returning to team activities, not returning to practice. He's been practicing, just hasn't been doing stuff with the team. Nick freaking Bosa back on the field, taking reps with the team. And Ant, what did he do in his first rep?
Yeah, his very first rep of 11 on 11, he gets a sack.
Oh, a sack.
Yeah, I'm sure his knee was really bad and bothering him.
I'm shocked,
as he springs around the outside and gets a sack on the quarterback. This is just what
it's a wrap, folks.
This is just what he does. I mean, this is Nick Bosa in a nutshell. The fact that he can play with such leverage and use his hands and get offensive linemen off balance. He's just one of the best to do it right now in the NFL. He had last year cut short, but don't think this guy isn't going to be coming back better and ready and better than ever. It's going to be fun to watch ultimately, but 9 reps I think is something to pay attention to. This is very similar to what they did with D Ford. When D Ford first came back, it was limited reps, and D Ford has slowly worked himself up, and D Ford also might play against the Raiders on Sunday. So we might get that matchup. The 2019 defensive ends, bookends might be out there. So this could be a fun watch for the preseason. We're going to see it in a very limited role. I'm sure you're probably going to see Nick Bosa for 1-2 series at most, and then he'll be out of the game. But it'll be nice to see him out there.
It's going to be exciting to see him out there. Just the fact, Ant, right, that this is even a possibility. The full gold rush in a preseason game when everyone was worried we weren't going to have him. Ebukam was dealing with the knee stuff for a bit. Oh, gosh, we signed this guy up. Armstead goes out for, Armstead, he can't say Buckner, right? Kinlaw goes down, knee, and then shoulder. Every time something has happened to one of these guys, right? Something has occurred, something has popped up. Everyone's been panicking. Well, guess what? No reason to panic now, because we're going to get a chance to see it in action potentially for a little bit of time. And everyone hopefully is going to get out of this ready to go for week 1, and we can unleash it at times, obviously, but unleash the full potential of this gold rush.
Yeah, I want, in 2 third down plays, I want this. The first time, can we get Ford out there with Armstead, Kinlaw, and Bosa? That's nice. Number 1. And then the next time we hit a third down, can we get Ford, Ebukam, Bosa, and Armstead? Oof. If we get those groupings, that's what I'm here for. That's what I want to see the most. What's crazy is I think that's what I'm the most hyped to see in the Raiders game, because I want to see how they use this defensive line. You can't tell I'm a front 7 guy that I really get excited about front 7 football. That would be really fun. And I think closely second behind that, of course, quarterbacks both playing together will be an interesting story to watch. But I for some reason, the defensive line is going to be just so fun. And I think we know how important it is to the team. After 2019, we just seen how important it was to this defense, and these guys could be better than that.
Yeah, I mean, that's not outrageous. I know some people don't want to envision or imagine that world in which that is the case, but you better get used to it, because this team has the talent and the ability to do those things with this group and with this this concoction and conglomerate. It's not the same as 2019 in the sense of, all right, 4 guys, but it can be recreated in a variety of different ways and can do a variety of different things. It doesn't have to be all speed. It doesn't have to be all power. They'll be able to stuff inside interior runs, which is going to make things harder on play actions, right? You're going to be able to be more creative with the blitz packages, whether it's Hufanga or the safeties, whoever it may be, your linebacking core. K'Wan Williams, we haven't seen K'Wan Williams at all out there. So you don't really know what the plan is in terms of utilizing him in blitz schemes and in rundown situations as well. So this team has a variety of ways to attack, and the NFL really hasn't gotten to see any of it.
No, I mean they've kept their secondary pretty much out the entire preseason. No Jimmy Ward, very limited Tavon Wilson, no Jason Verrett, no Emmanuel Mosley, no K'Wan Williams. The 49ers have been just going out there and letting these rooks, get their time in and get the experience, and it's going to benefit them in the long run. There was no reason to have those other guys out there. They already knew what was going on. Now it is. Now you get those guys out there for, one time together where they get that chemistry and get that rhythm and start feeling good about, what they can do this season. And they're going to have a decent challenge, which is going to be fun to go over when we do our game preview show. Because, you got Derek Carr and, Darren Waller, and these guys are going to be out there looking to make it happen. You got Henry Ruggs that can stretch the field vertically.
Accurate.
So, there are some things there. Plus, you got John Gruden and Shanahan have a history from their time in Tampa Bay together. So, it'll at least be fun. I think they'll be poking at each other and having a good time. But this is going to be a fun game to watch, and ultimately, mainly because of the 49ers, though.
I agree with you. I'll tell you what, man. That 49ers team, man, I don't even know what to do with them.
Yeah.
He doesn't. John Gruden will not know what to do, especially if the Shanaplan plan comes into full effect and you get to see Trey running in certain situations, Jimmy running in other situations, and they're going to have to guess and predict what that means and what you want to accomplish and what you want to do. Because, yes, Trey can move and be mobile with his feet. He can execute and run the read option, right? We've seen them run quarterback draws, but he can also push the ball down the freaking field. So when you see Trey, you may want to bring that nickel package out. Go ahead. We could run the ball right down your throat at those points in time as well. So it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very interesting. But it's obvious that Shanahan is ready for this tactical advantage that utilizing 2 quarterbacks is going to give him.
Yeah, and the first time Trey Lance trots out there on a 3rd and 1 situation, and you overcommit to the run, and he beats you deep with a deep pass to one of these wide receivers, it's going to make you think twice about it every other time. So you have to commit a defender to him on short yardage situations, which gives the 49ers opportunities to beat them down the field. It's going to be weird watching all of a sudden Jimmy get the team down to like the 5-6 yard line, Trey Lance come out in the red zone and execute at a high level. The way that they're able to use these quarterbacks is going to be fun, and it's going to be interesting to see what situations Kyle Shanahan ultimately decides is the best situations for each quarterback to execute, and then couple those personnel settings with it as well. Are you going to get George Kittle on certain situations? Juice, when is he going to be out there? Is Trey going to, operate primarily from the gun? All these things are going to be things that maybe we get a small glimpse into, but all the poor Detroit Lions have to worry about in a couple weeks when they've got to line up and figure out exactly, I have to prepare for what Jimmy Garoppolo does, and I have to prepare for what Trey Lance does, all the while trying to predict where these receivers are going to be and how this running game is going to get going. You have to stop it all. It is becoming a very, very difficult task. Kyle Shanahan has his chessboard in a whole other level than everyone else's.
He's also not playing with the same pieces everyone else is.
No, he's definitely not. He's got way better pieces. There's a lot less pawns on this board compared to everyone else, and that's not even including some of these other guys if they make the roster, like a Jalen Hurd, where you're able to do a lot of things with him because he's a jack of all trades.
Basically, queen out there.
Basically, him and Debo and Brandon Ayuk are all like queens. George Kittle, you can do anything with those guys. Kyle Juszczyk. It's nasty. When you think about it, it's just nasty.
It's not fair. It's really not fair.
No.
I like the board being stacked in our favor, though. I'll take that every day of the week.
Yeah, especially when you got a genius like Kyle Shanahan and Mike McDaniels, actually both of them. Just geniuses of football. They know what's going on. They're going to be able to scheme it. One of the most over-said things I've ever heard about a wide receiver, and it was said about Jalen Hurd, is the fact he can't consistently beat man coverage. He's 6'5", he's 230 pounds. He automatically beats man coverage with his body as long as he knows how to use it. But I saw that take and it kind of made me laugh because I'm like, do you really know what are you sure they're in man coverage? They're not in cover 3. Are you sure you know what you're seeing? Because when we were there,
I saw him, right? He broke off the ball and the cornerback just turned and ran downfield and he ran a vert and he was all over him.
Because we seen him beat zone and man coverage when we were there.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, the times in man coverage where he beat man coverage pretty badly, or just beat man coverage, I won't even clarify. It's not worth trying to quantify. Every time he was in man coverage and I watched him run an intermediate route over the middle of the field, he was open.
Yeah.
He was open almost every single freaking time.
Well, it's the definition of open again, right?
Correct.
Because a lot of people
think...
Did he
create 5 steps?
A lot of people think if a defender's within arm's distance that you're not open, and that's not correct in the NFL.
This isn't Madden, folks, where the defender can be behind the guy and reach through him to intercept the ball. It's not... People are matter, right? Like, I exist.
What do you mean, people matter or people are matter?
People are matter.
Okay.
They're made up of matter and atoms, right? Like they exist. They're hard. They're solid. You can't like just reach through them. This isn't a video game. It's not virtual.
Yeah.
So when you run a route and you put a guy behind you, right, a defender behind you, and he's pinned and he can't get around you to defend the ball, and the only thing he can do, right, stand there, let you have it, and then take you to the ground. That is still open, folks.
Yeah, which Mohamed Sanu does fantastically.
Yeah, he does.
So, I mean, if any other big receivers like Jawan Jennings or Jalen Hurd are smart, they've been watching Mohamed Sanu and seeing the way that he approaches the game, and they have, because they both have looked good when they were on the field. Jawan Jennings, unfortunately, starts the season with the out because of the testing and then eventually the heel, but he was having a freaking great training camp. So
full heel turn for Jawan Jennings.
Unfortunately, yes. We need him. I want all those guys on the field. But yeah, the 49ers just pieces galore. And it's one of those things where if you don't have a Jawan Jennings and the things he can do, you do have a Travis Benjamin then that can take it, the top off the defense. Yeah, but there's too many decisions. They almost have a crowded board at this point.
I mean, can you imagine Kyle Shanahan right now sitting in his office, right? He's looking at his board, his whiteboard, his positions, right, and his little fancy magnets that he just throws up there on the board, and he's sitting there looking at that wide receiver room. He's looking at the tight end board still, because there's still a lot of names on that tight end board, right, that you can do different things with. And you got Jordan Matthews, you got Michael Pruitt, you got Warner, you got Dwelly. What are you going to do there? The running back room as well, and he's just like, do I have to?
Yeah.
Can I just keep them all? Can we just get rid of some of these other guys and we'll just roll with, like, our starting D-line, like, and the depth that we have there, and I'll just keep 3 linebackers. It's fine. We don't need any more. And we'll just roll with 2 safeties.
I'm pretty sure Kyle Shanahan wishes the roster size was 60.
I would. I want it to be 60, personally.
Yeah.
I mean, 60, we have no problems. Project 60 is the easiest project in the world. It's not even a debate.
It's true.
Project 53, that's going to be tough. You don't want to miss that. That's going to be coming out next week on Monday, 9 a.m. Oh, excuse me, 11 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
Oh, it is 9 a.m.
9 a.m.?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's 9 a.m.
Yeah, we could do 9 a.m. or we could push it back a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I guess it's going to be Monday for sure. So make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already and hit that notification bell as well. There's tons of great things still coming out on this channel that we're producing. We just released the Madden League.
Right.
We just released Fantasy Football. You can find those in the comments, or excuse me, in the description down below, not the comment section, but the description down below, as well as on the community page. Or, they could just join the Discord server. It's right there pinned on the welcome page as well. Lots of ways for you to get involved and be interactive with the Cutback crew. Make sure you take advantage of all of it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, do anything that you can to be a part of the 49ers Cutback crew. All the socials, all that. Buy the merch. Get involved. Be on the Discord. It's been a lot of fun so far. And you want to make sure you're at the game preview live stream. You want to hear about the 49ers versus Raiders. All the breakdowns, all the key matchups.
Wait, that's today.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's today. You don't want to miss that.
You don't want to miss that. Watch that later. Also, there'll be some nice announcements in that as well that we'll be able to drop some more stuff. So you don't want to miss it. You definitely want to be there. It's an exciting time. We give your wow, that's bold takes. We also are going to, just get into the ins and outs of the game before we get there. Talk about who needs to make an impact to be able to make this 53-man roster, who is on the bubble and who's not. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a blast. The editor's telling me right now what's going on. I can't even believe it. You can't hear him. He's just whispering it to me. It's going to be a lot of fun. You don't want to miss tonight's preview show. It's going to be a blast. A lot of great things to reveal. A lot of great things coming your way. And until that time, 49ers fans, you stay safe.
Remember, the right way is always the 49ers way.